Good morning and welcome to day 5 of our cozy wrap sew along. Today we'll be adding the sleeves. If you've opted for the hemmed sleeve, you'll simply add it according to the tutorial and just hem it. If you've opted for the short sleeve, you'll be adding bands to it. And if you've opted for the gathered cuffed sleeve, which is the one I chose, we'll be adding that sleeve today. If you're doing any other options that I'm not covering, remember that there's videos included in the tutorial. So all you have to do is click on the links in the pattern, and Judy has provided videos for those as well. So you are not left without any extra help if you need it. So my sleeves look pretty rectangular. I do have a top and the bottom. I marked my top with like 2 clips here, the center top, and this is the center bottom. I know that's the top, it has the 2 clips close to each other, and this is the other one. So now I'm gonna go ahead and sew my sleeves along the vertical raw edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Adding the sleeves in the round because our shirt side seams are already sewn. Repeat for the other sleeve. So, take your shirt, you want to turn your sleeves with the right side out and matching the center top, that's why I put my marking, center top of the sleeve, you'll match the shoulder seam. So basically I'm putting the sleeve in this arm opening, right sides together, matching the center top of the sleeve to the shoulder seam, and then I'm matching the side seams as well. And just pinning it in place. We'll be stitching this in the round with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. One sleeve is added. This is how it looks on the outside. Okay, we'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So turn your shirt inside out, turn your sleeve with the right side out, okay, so I know this is my center top. This will go where the shoulder seam is. So, and then the side seams will match. I'll just add a couple of pins throughout. I do say pins, but I mean clips. I rarely use pins anymore. Okay, and we'll stitch this in the round with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Set this aside for now, and we're going to be stitching the cuffs next, because we need the cuff measurement before we gather the bottom of the sleeve. Okay. So this is how it looks right now. We just need to gather that sleeve. And it's looking like a cardigan. Okay. So for the bottom, I went ahead and pressed the cuffs wrong sides together like we did on the hem the other day on the bottom band. So now I'm just opening it up, placing it right sides together along the vertical seam. With a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So now you have the cuff, and because we've pre-ironed it, it's super easy to fold. And there is one of your cuffs ready, and we're doing the same thing for the other cuff. So I'm opening it up and bringing it to right sides together and stitching the hook. Two cuffs are ready, and if you look at the opening, it's much wider, much bigger, the arm wrist opening. So now we need to gather this opening to match the cuff. So you can use your sewing machine to gather with 2 lines of gathering and just pull until those 2 match, or you can use your serger to gather, which is what I'm going to do. And we'll do both of them and then attach them again. I have moved to my gathering serger. I bought a new one, the one that I've been using so far. So I set up my old serger to just gather. So it's set up to my gathering functions, which are differential feed at 2, then my left needle around 8, right needle around 7-ish, and this will bring me yield me a pretty tight gather. I will not remove any fabric as I gather. This will give me about a 2:1 ratio gathering. It also depends on the fabric that you're using. So until you figure out what works for the fabric that you chose, make sure you leave enough tail on the serger to play with the gather. Now, this is my gathered sleeve right off the bat, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty spot on. Yeah, see? It's pretty spot on, the match, because it's kind of a 2:1 ratio. I've been using this serger to gather for years and years, so I know the settings, but keep in mind that the settings will vary based on the fabric. Thinner fabric will gather tighter for the same setting than thicker fabric, like let's say French terry. It's squeaky, but it's here just to gather. I just use this serger right now for gathering because I don't have to mess with it anymore. the other sleeve is gathered. This is the center of the sides. That's why I keep this clip there to know where the center is. Because now I'm putting my cuff with the center of the cuff matching my center side and the seam matching the other seam. And I'm pretty sure it's spot on right now. Yep, see? No, not much fiddling needed. But again, this came with experience and the knowing my surgeon and using it forever for gathering. You might find it easier to do this step and gather on your sewing machine. But for me, it's definitely easier like this. So see, right now on the inside, I have the gathered sleeve. And on the outside, I have the cuff. And I'm going to go ahead and sew it with the other serger. And that will finish today's steps. Okay, we're back here at the sewing serger, not the gathering serger. So I will just stitch this down with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's why I didn't remove any fabric when I was gathering with the serger. My knife was this little because I wanted the raw edge to match. I knew I would be removing a 1/4 of an inch to follow the 1/2 inch seam allowance pattern, the pattern I really think it's a personal preference. However, in my mind and for my project, I find that gathering with the serger gives me the most even gathers out of all the styles of gathering that I've done before. It's definitely my most favorite. Look. So the sleeve is done. The gathering is very even on both sides. So we'll be repeating the same thing on the other sleeve. So here is where we have the center. I can feel the pin. Okay, so here is the center of the cuff. So I'm going to match this with this and then match the side seams. So the side seam here and the seam here, those will match. Perfect. So easy. The same thing, I'm stitching with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This was the last step for today. Your sleeves should be finished now. There you go. So your cardigan is almost done. All we have to do is create and insert the tie, and we'll do that tomorrow. How cute is this? I love these sleeves. I absolutely love these sleeves. Alright, so take a picture of your added sleeves and post it in the comments of day 5 of the Sew Along album. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for our last day where we'll be adding the ties. Talk to you soon. Bye!